The effort of government in a time like this, a critical time in the country, is to address the many challenges and the issues confronting the nation. But the steps taken by the federal government have not, to some citizens of this country, is not justifiable enough to quench the current economic hardship in the country. The agitations concern protest calls proposed to take place from August 1st. The government is doing all it can to address the situation and bring everyone to dialogue to put to rest the issues of protests. To government, the proposed protests might be aware of disrupting the peace of the country and also bringing instability in the nation. While some experts and legal practitioners have argued that it is the right of citizens to hit on protests, they also called and concerned about the lessons of the EndSARS protests and also what is befalling the people of Kenya as of today. On the program tonight on Big Talk, we'll be discussing the state of the polity, the effort of the president, the dialogue mechanism of the president, what the president seems to be doing, what the governors are doing to arrest the situations of the economic hardship in the country. Recall that presidency have also made a step yesterday by announcing that across the country, the 50 kg bag of rice will be sold at 40,000. Among other attempts by the federal government to arrest the situation of the economic hardship. But just like Oliver Twist, the Nigerian youth, citizens are saying that it is not enough, that more are expected of the government to tackle this issue. That fuel is over 1,000 naira in some stations, that transportation is also on the high side, cost of living is also on the high side, affordability is not easy for a common Nigerian. But government is insisting that they should give them more time to arrest the situation. On the program tonight, we'll be discussing these issues and, of course, highlighting some effort of government. I'm being joined by the political analyst, Dotun Omoleye. Of course, he's a young Nigerian who will be adding voice to the perspective of this time around, what it means for the young people to be fed up of what government really means, the definition of government. And, of course, I'm being joined by the APGA FCT Secretary, who is Chika Obezie. They are live here in the studio to discuss these issues of the polity and the state of the nation. Good evening, gentlemen, and good to have you on the program.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thanks so much, APGA. How's the party going? Let me just start with that. Okay, thanks so much. Yes, we are not here to discuss the party at first, but we're looking at the interests of Nigeria. You understand the exercise we have government is to put things in place, is to give a face to representation, is to make life meaningful for people. To some young people, there is a need to end bad governance. Do you see the signal or the disagreement of young people to the path of what government are doing? Or do you feel it's just a political move by some group? What is your description about what is currently happening in the country?
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, viewers. End bad governance, as it's been tagged, by some, interested individuals who strongly believe that the country is not properly governed at the moment, and they believe that the country and the people deserve, better leadership and also approach to governance. And I think that's their view. And in a democratic, society, people have the right to think and to also, allude that this is what they believe that it should be. Yeah, it's timely, yes, no doubt. If you are to assess, leadership, governance for decades in Nigeria, we've always been having leadership challenges. Buhari was there, Jonathan was there, Yar'Adua was there, Obasanjo was there. It's still almost like the same thing. But for the young people or for a group of people to say, yes, they need to, take things further by tagging it and governance. It's within their right, to kind of find a way to agitate. And agitation, protest, they are common ingredients, that sustain democracy, and we can't undermine the fact that people have the right to, to posit and to also, make a case, for a just and, equal and egalitarian society. Because when Nigeria is good, it's good for everybody. And when the country is not working well, it's also for everybody. So we need to move forward. But doing that, we need to do it within the ambit of the law. That's my position.
Your interpretation of the ambit of the law that also means a different interpretation for others. But we'll come to that.
That's my personal position.
We'll come to that. Chika, what's your understanding about the agitation now and bad governance? Some may argue that during Jonathan's regime, there was a similar concern in 2012. Some may also say during Buhari's regime, there was EndSARS protest of 2020. Is it out of place for the people, for concerned citizens to agitate for what they simply feel that things are not going well in the country? What's your concern about that? Are you in support of it?
Thank you so much. Very well, very much in support anyway. Because constitutionally, it is their right. They are exercising their fundamental human rights. So, going to protect, it's like my brother said, it's one of the ingredients that's shaping up democracy. So protest is not a new thing, but it must be under the confine of the law. It's constitutional thing, so nobody should molest people or try to cage people not to do what is their right. Government has rights to do what they want to do, but the individuals, the citizenry, they have rights on their own too. So if they decide that through demonstration, they want to voice out their mind, they want to come to tell the government that what we are seeing is not what we expected of you, and then government should listen to them. To me, my own opinion. So it is within their confined rights to
take it to that level.
Yeah.
Mr. President, when he was campaigning, he had asked for the job.
Yeah.
He told Nigerians that he will hit the ground running from day one.
Yeah.
But in all indices of statistics, you argue would be that life in the last 8 years cannot be compared to what Nigerians are facing in this 1 year. Do you feel that is a missing line of this government, or does it mean that the effort of the president is not visible enough?
Yes, when you say last 8 years happens to be a bit better than this year, then you look at the economic indices that surrounds it, look at the population, you look at the programs, of the last government and this present government, look at the approach, like I said earlier, to governance, programs that has direct impacts on the people. And then when you look at the economic reforms being carried out by this present government, they are not miraculous kind of, policies or reform that you think that when you implement it on the instant, you get immediate results. They are the kind of policies that when you put them in place, they are procedural in nature, whereby it takes a period of time before you start seeing, the impact of these things. So the economic situation of the country, will always, need to be handled in a very, 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 cautious manner, because our economy is a multifaceted, economy that when you are trying to restructure a particular sector, you need to also be mindful of the ripple effect on the other part of the economy. So the president is, to me, I believe is trying to put his foot on the ground to make sure that things are cool and good for everybody. And then look at so many, programs. Like a few days ago, the Southeast Development Commission bill, was signed into law by the president. These are one of many other policies that the president is trying to put in place, because when you look at the Southeast zone, for example, for over the years, this is a zone that has always been, agitating, for equal representation, for opportunity, for space at the national government. But now that you have created this kind of a development commission to them, is a means of rebuilding, reconstruction, and also restructuring that particular zone to also solidify and also reintegrate, them properly, into the scheme of things at the national level. So what I'm saying is, there are many policies that the president is trying to put in place, but it
seems a long-term project.
Yeah, it is because of where we are coming from. Nigeria is not a country of 10 years.
But it's still APC that we're in government.
Of course it is, but leaders are of different ideology and different principles and philosophy. So that Buhari is of APC doesn't mean that he's actually Tinubu.
But he's looking as if he's the one that have made things more worse for the president, because by what we are saying, the president said he's trying to repair the situation.
I disagree with you. I disagree with you.
So you shouldn't be putting blame.
No, it's not about blaming any leader or whatever. You know, probably maybe saying Buhari was even worse, or maybe down Tinubu, or maybe Tinubu is better. What we are saying is Buhari worked with a crop of ministers that were from different parts of the country. If you look at this government today, maybe there are only 2 or 3 of those ministers that serve with him that are in this government. George Akume was Minister of Special Duty. Festus Keyamo was Minister of State for Labour. There may be one other person that can see that's made up to this government. So that means that Buhari worked with the people that he thought, you know, could add value to his leadership. And Tinubu has come again to now pick a different set of people that he believes in that can run. So you can't say what Buhari has done is actually, you know, what led us to where we are. Nigeria is about 64 years old country. So why should you now blame a government that has served just for maybe, let's say, 8 to 9 years, because Buhari served 8 years, Asiwaju is there 1 year plus. So put it together is about 9 years plus. So you can't just shift the blame of 64 years and put it on the governance and leaders of that serve for 9 years plus. It doesn't work that way. What we are talking about is that our problem is systemic, and unfortunately in the past we have had people that have been in the scheme of things who might not have done what they're supposed to do at the right time, and these are the things that have put us to where we are today. So in correcting those errors, they are not things. Nigeria is not a miracle center where a pastor will climb the pulpit and declare and say, you receive your miracle. Leadership is not about miracle. It's not a rocket science. It's a process. It's a procedure. It's like building a house. You lay a foundation, you take it to the window level, you take it to the roofing level. That's how Nigeria is. So it takes a critical situation like this requires a critical approach, and that's what the president is doing.
From that path, some people are saying the fuel subsidy removal is an issue that the president probably would have done a more design, framework, negotiation, dialogue before considering removing subsidy. It feels to many Nigerians that removal of subsidy is against the people. To them, that was the only commodity that every Nigerian was subscribing for. I mean, it was being subscribed for Nigerians.
To me, I'm just speaking based on my own personal belief.
No, you believe in this government.
Of course I do.
And if you believe in this government, you should be able to prove to Nigerians why the intentions of removing subsidy. As at that time,
like I said, a critical situation requires a critical approach. The president, yes, knew before coming in that subsidy have to go. And there is no better time to do it than for him to do it at a time when he feels it's right for him to do it. It's not left for him to now find a way to balance it and to make sure that people find a way to settle into the situation, because announcing the fuel subsidy removal on the day of his swearing in is something that appears strange to Nigerians. But he knew within himself that he's going to do it. Then how he's able to manage it, that's another step. You can't expect us to go back and now say he wants to reintroduce again subsidy, you know, and I said fuel is now 197 again. Oh, there are underlying factors, you know, that could make a president to make that kind of a, you know.
All right, Chika, what's your assessment of the capacity of the president? Because it looks as if the president is a man who was being a senator, was being a governor of his state and all of that. But some person said they thought he would have done better at the time like this. What's your assessment of his capacity to confront these issues? Because if you look at the issues in the oil sector, they said we have cabals in the oil sector. Why can't you fish them out? Why can't you confront them other than removing subsidy? Do you feel that the president is lacking some political will to confront it?
To some extent. He's lacking the political will to sort the issue in the oil sector out. I can't imagine how we are one of the largest oil producing country and we're importing fuel. In the right perspective, fuel subsidy shouldn't have come in if our refineries are working. What are we subsidizing? The price of exporting crude and bringing in the refined fuel. I thought that before the president would have removed the fuel subsidy, he would have put a lot of things in place, especially if the modular refineries are in place. The fuel that we consume, the consumption of the fuel we consume in the country, will take care of it. The issue of the subsidy will just fizzle out on its own. if these things are put in place. So I believe he should have done much more better to do things in the right perspective and put the necessary mechanism in place before the removal of the subsidy. I think the subsidy removal was so sudden.
And it was really big hardship to your assessment.
Of course.
Well, let's get back to what we've seen. The former militant leader has forged the nationwide protest. To him, where your right stops, another person's right begins. He spoke this at the Niger Delta conference earlier today. Let me bring to you the reaction of the former militant leader, Dakubo, who has said this. Take a listen.
We are not going to, I and all those who believe in me, and those of you who are committed to the interests of the Niger Delta, we are not going to be part of any protest. It's as clear as that. If anybody have the right to protest, I also have the right to resist protest. Where your rights stop, that's where my right begins. I am anti-protest. People will say that they've given him money. That's why he's talking this way. I am now. Go take your own. Me, I don't take my own. Because a lot of people make these claims, and when they make this claim, you now start to hide. When they make this claim, you now start to be apologetic. We were all here. The same formula, the same pattern. When our brother was there, they protested. Today, another of our brother is here. They want to protest. It's the truth. When you allow yourself to be used, when you always bend their back for people to ride on you, they will continue to ride on you. Like the IYC president said, our needs included in their 10-point demands? No. So we are not important to them, but it's our resources that they want to share. We are not important to, but they want to share our resources. I want to say that I have the capacity. I'll be away, Keme. I have the capacity. If you carry your protest come near me, you will collect.
Well, that was a former military leader reacting to the end bad governance protests. To him, he's saying that the demands of the protesters is not meeting with some of his, is not aligning with some of his philosophy. But critically, we'll now be looking at some of these demands. And when you look at the issues of hunger, it's a critical situation, and looking at the electricity, looking at making INEC independent of the executive branch, looking at enacting a law mandating INEC to electronically transmit live electoral results, looking at the reopening of the national borders, looking at the reforms of EFCC, looking at declaring a state of emergency on inflation, and the reforming the judiciary. These are some of the demands from the protesters. I will take a look at some of these issues. Chika, what's your assessment from what we had in the exercise we had in the last election? Because to some young people that are the grievances that is fueling this protest seems to be that the concern they had over the last election, the disagreement they had with INEC and all of those things. Do you feel that INEC should get it right, or this is also a concern for them to see what they can reforms in their commission?
Yes, I think the past election, people with a lot of hope, especially the youths, You know, when your hope is being dashed to some extent, you are bound to react either negatively or positively. But to some extent, there's need to be a reform in the INEC. We need to do more on our electoral reforms, processes. Because if peradventure the last election that INEC said they can upload results for presidential election results on that particular day, it gives a question mark to the processes and the integrity of that commission. So I think, to me, there is need for a total reform of the INEC as a body.
To critically look at it. Dr. What's your assessment about this demand? Because part of much of the demands that they're asking is in line with what many Nigerians are yearning for. Do you feel these are misplaced priorities?
Why is it that it's after the lost election in 2023 they are doing?
Do you feel that these are grievances of the last election?
It's like.
But is hunger a political statement?
You're asking about the electoral.
Yes, the electoral reform.
That's the one I'm talking about, because it's like a man who was given the chance to play a penalty. You are facing the goalkeeper and you shoot the ball into the sky. You are now blaming the goalpost that it is because the goalpost was not properly set. That was why you missed it.
It was as if INEC has shifted the goalpost.
INEC did not shift the goalpost.
But today, some Nigerians, not to some Nigerians, it seems
these are the same people that are foiling the protest because they believe
transmission of the result. It's a major issue there. They tell Nigerians that they don't transmit the result, but on reaching the election day,
they have the opportunity of challenging this at the court of law. And the matter has been put to rest.
So you say the technicality that was put in the
look at the list we are holding. That's the top of the agenda because they feel they failed and they need to justify it to people that believe in them.
Are you saying that was the perfect size entirely?
Why wouldn't it be perfect? Have you ever seen a perfect election across the world? Have you ever seen an election that has been adjudged to be 100%? Our democracy is green. That's the honest truth. You can't compare 2020 election with 1999 election, or 1999 with 2007, or 2007 with 2015. There will always be errors, and that's why the electoral amendment is important, because we need to continue to amend our laws, electoral laws, so that it can strengthen our democracy. You understand? Even if you are to conduct 2027 election too, those that are to be agreed, those that are to lose, will still find a way to fault the process. And one of the major problems we're having is the character of our leaders. Our people, they always want to accept reality, because they always believe when you're in a process, you must win. So while you are pushing forward, why are you not envisaging that what if you lose? But they always believe that the moment you enter a process, or the moment you throw up your heart into the ring, you must win. Why not manage your followers to understand that this is a win or lose game?
But as a stand on this,
so why not challenging your energy towards making sure that you remove President Tinubu so that probably the country can go into anarchy because you lost election?
Do you feel that's a leaders?
These are the people behind this.
But we've seen that the party presidential candidate saying yes to peaceful protest. I'm informing you what he said.
Yeah.
Yes to peaceful protest, but not to violence. That is the right of the people. And even some government officials within your government are going.
He knows the beginning of coming to the public to tell you that I'm supporting violence. He knows. Because that means he's going to be responsible.
They will judge as a leader, will judge him by the statement.
Why must the protest be violent?
That's it.
We envisaging violence.
That's it.
The question is because the fear of government is that it will be violent. We saw some women yesterday in the Eagle Square saying no to protest.
Yeah.
Was it violence in nature? That's also it's also concern.
Let's look at it from this angle. In the last 4 years, we've had 2 major protests. Not those ones organized by NLC, but fueled by actions and reactions of people in the society. The 2020 EndSARS, then the December 2023, January, February, Naira redesign policy, because there were pockets of protests across the country whereby it was naturally, organized because of the situation. People went to banks, they couldn't withdraw money, people were looking for cash, so people were frustrated. These are the 2 major protests that has actually happened between 2020 and 2024. Let's analyze it.
The destruction, yes, just as you pointed, probably government are afraid that the destruction in Lagos, if you go to Lagos, you ask how much of destruction was made from that size. You go to some cities, major cities that these protests have been carried out, they're concerned about it. And some said we can't compare 2012 protests and that of 2024. These are planned protests already. Now, the issue is that a leader at that time was accepting the protests wholeheartedly. But it looks as if the current administration is resisting the protests. Are you seeing it in that direction, or can you differ? Because when you look at the issues of threatening that it's going to end with crisis and all of those destruction, you were here in 2012 doing that. I mean, we understand the 2012 protests. Give us an understanding of that 2012 protest, and what likely may repeat itself, leaving NSAS protests aside for now.
The truth is this: government, they are afraid. And the people the protestants, if actually the government is doing the right thing.
You feel the government are not doing the right thing?
They're not doing the right thing.
What right thing?
I disagree with you.
The right thing I'm saying, I meant is that you don't subdue people from their right by propaganda. You say they allow them to exercise their rights. You have the police. Police will give them security. So if there is anybody that will bring in the violence into it, like police said, that they have information, they should arrest those people. They should do their job and make sure that the proper people, the right people, are the people protesting. They should give them cover.
All right, listen, government, president have been meeting with a lot of people.
Yeah.
He has met with traditional council, he has met with religious council and all of those bodies. Yeah. Young people see that the president this time is distance from the young people. He has not bring them to the table of dialoguing. Do you feel that if he had probably could go towards this direction, it may be a way of putting an end to the August 1st proposed protest? Or do you feel that the president is in a way misinformed on the reality on ground?
I disagree with you.
Is he far from the people?
He is not far from the people. This is the most accessible and the most open president Nigeria has ever had.
Did Senator 2 weeks ago said that
he doesn't have the right to posit on whatever he wants to say.
He has been a closest cabinet member. He has
never been a closest cabinet member. He has been in the Senate all over. He was in the House of Rep before he joined.
He fronted your party in the last election. You lead to the emergence of Babu and all of
you. And I know the kind of personality Senator Ndume carries. I don't want to go into that. But what I'm saying that Senator Ndume cannot say or adjure the president to be, a failure. He doesn't. He can't. He doesn't have the
reality on ground. Is it misinformed? Because sometimes we see ministers telling the president all is well on ground.
You understand doesn't mean that you understand everything that is happening in the government. You might know everything that is happening in the legislative and good, but you might not know everything that is happening both in the judiciary, executive, and legislative. Except you need to know. That's the honest truth. So for him to have come out doesn't mean that what he's saying is accurate.
But what is it? What is it? What is it?
Motivated because you and I know that he had issue with Saraki all that time. So I don't want to go into his personality. But what I'm saying is the president understands what is happening in the country. That's the honest truth. And Nigeria is a complex country, and you don't just expect that. Even though when you have this information, the manner and the approach at which you display matters. Again, we are trying to solve the solution.
So why is he not speaking with the youth?
Because the president is a youth-loving person, and you and I know that this is the same president that splitted the Ministry of Youth and Sports into two, where he now said Ministry of Youth should stand alone. And at the end of the day, he now appointed two young individuals to man the same ministry. Are you telling me that he didn't love Nigerian youth? Yeah, has the use of this protest. This is the president that has had more young people in appointments better than any government in this country. So are you telling me he doesn't love the young people? This is a president that has signed his Nigerian Education Loan Fund so that young people can have access to education, especially the indigent one who doesn't have the economic strength to do that. Are you telling me he doesn't love people? This is a president that some days ago he signed the Nigerian Youth Investment Fund, whereby he devoted 110 billion naira into this loan fund where young people across the country can access funding for their businesses, for the schemes, whatever they want to do, and progress as it is. Are you telling me this in person doesn't?
Some of these things are not on ground. I mean, in reality, if you go to the market, the statistics of where we see that government are doing, if for instance, government said 50 kg bag of rice is 40,000. If I give you 40,000 now, can you buy bag of rice for 40,000 in the matter of tomorrow?
I'll tell you one of the challenges we have. Let me tell you. A state governor prefers to push his policies at the state level to people, to make people understand that this is what he's doing, abandoning whatever the president is doing, wherever he is, to make sure that he continues to promote himself. So you don't expect a president to go down to the grassroots and be telling people what he's doing, because it's actually that the structure is supposed to go down because people are benefiting. And a lot of people that have also benefited from federal government policies or programs, that they think it was the state government that has been helping them, not knowing that these things are federal government policies. Like December, some of the National Assembly members were given, support to give it to their people. Some of them did not even tell the people where those things were coming from. That's the honest truth. So are you expecting the president to go to those communities to now start telling them this is what I've done? But he was doing all those things as a structure of government. We have 360 House of Rep members, 109 senators, thinking about the time you reach out to these people, this thing will get down to the grassroots. And it's expected that the people should feel the impact directly through these structures. But some of these people are even getting these things, making it look as if it was just, it fell from heaven and they got it on their own. So these are things that the president needs.
People always have to blame the president because he's a head, he's a father of the nation.
That's where it is.
I think the implementation of the policies of the government
is a problem. Because sometimes we have fantastic ideas and policies.
Fantastic ideas. His policies are good, but the implementation. How do you get to the masses, to the grassroots? The people that you sander with the responsibility are not doing the job. But what do? As the head, take proactive measures. If you give to the House of Rep, the senators, and they are not delivering, you have other agencies within the government that can do it and make sure that these things get to the people, and nobody will be talking today. Nigerians are not asking much more from the government. It's just for them to put food on their table. Create an enabling environment that will drive the business, the small-scale business. You understand? So they're not asking more.
Is a government intimidating people? Because we've seen that ever since we've had these intentions of the protest. It has been, even the army came out earlier last week and said no to protest. And some Nigerians said this is civil, issues. The army is not meant to come out and also be joining issues in the society as well. They're also concerned about governors, threat from governors. You've seen that the former military leader also saying that where your right stops, my right start, and all of that. He has seen the ongoing threats and intimidation of the young people. Are you seeing it in that direction, away from the dialogue that you also want? Or you don't want dialogue?
Of course, there's need for dialogue. Even after the protest, there will still be dialogue. After the EndSARS protest, Lagos state government and other state governments, even the President Buhari set up a panel to investigate and also discuss and prefer solutions to demands of the EndSARS. What do you call that? That's dialogue. So whether you're going to protest or you choose not to go to, there is always need for us to dialogue.
So why the intimidation?
How will you say a popular government, a government that is most popular, and you are telling me that government is intimidating people? Why should you be intimidating people? The security apparatus are only doing their job. They can't have a level that amount of information at their disposal and you expect them to keep it to themselves. No, it's not possible. They need to speak out and they need to update Nigerians on what is happening. And let me tell you one of the challenges that we are having. One of the failure of EndSARS in 2020 was the fact that the organizers printed the project to Nigerians, sold it to people, making them believe, oh, this is the channel we are going, this is the purpose for this protest. At the end of the day, the motive behind it was actually different. It was only the whole thing started turning sour before they now get to understand that, oh, this was not actually what they meant. So now, the same idea, the same approach will not work in 2024. That's 4 years ago. Nigerians are now wiser. And the question is, who is leading the protest? Let's see the face. Because the 2020 was a faceless protest where you cannot actually say, this is the leader. Okay, when President Buhari was not saying, the leader should come forward, let's discuss. Nobody could actually come forward. The same thing is happening now. Showore is in the US, pushing people to protest, instigating people, but he's in the US there. He has some of his group. Then the other group too, we don't even know who they are. So are you telling me that these people are not being sponsored? Because if you are not sponsored, you should be bold enough to come out and tell the police that we are the one leading the protest. Hold us responsible. They
have written to the police. The police have asked them to submit their names. They have gone ahead to do all of those issues. But we're seeing that the police are saying, come for a meeting, come for a physical meeting, and they are proposing a Zoom meeting. We are now in the digital world.
You can't be in your comfort zone in the US or in Italy and be instigating people.
We are not what is going to happen.
Yeah.
So if you show up
a threat of arrest.
Of course.
if you know your intentions are genuine, come forward. Let's discuss.
Chika, are you seeing this to be a political motive? Because just as they allege, it seems that the anger of the 2023 election is what is trailing or fueling these issues of the protest. Are you seeing in that direction?
You see, we must, if we want to move forward, we must detach ourselves from having sentiment in what we're doing. The hunger is biting, even you, even I, the hunger is biting.
No, it's not biting, it's not biting.
I bought for
I use the same market where you get them from, so yeah.
I bought for 1,000 naira per liter to come here.
I bought for today at 690.
So,
Since that the phone is not even available.
Go for it.
Even as in the morning, Nigerians cannot see that.
honestly, I didn't see fuel on the in the fleet station. I bought black market because I have a
That's
permit.
of course.
If the fuel is available, I will buy. So what are we saying? The hunger is too much.
It is not a political
It's not a
issue.
political matter. Let's remove politics from it.
But what we are saying is that when people are genuine, they should come forward and present themselves.
They should.
That's the honest truth.
They should. But we know the tactics of Nigerian police. Once you show yourself, you are not returning.
But if they are actually genuine, they should be bold enough to come forward.
Well, listen,
Yeah.
we are in a democracy.
You have been in this country where NLC will organize protests and nobody will arrest them.
Probably because understand that these are two different protests.
Yeah.
These are young people who feel they do not have a job.
Yeah.
These are young people who feel that they cannot afford to live in terms of cost of living, electricity tariff that was increased, the many challenges they are facing today. You can't say this is political.
It is now. When you look at the demand, why you be saying electoral reform when you have lost the process? Instead of you to wait for the next 4 years.
Remove electoral reform. Look at other demands.
Okay.
Hunger, inflation, electricity tariff, increase in that and all of that. Is it not a reality on ground? Is it not a reality that things are costing in the market?
Yeah, of course, these are getting increased on the daily. Of course, now.
All of us, we go to the same market.
Yes.
With different bargaining power. Maybe
APC are buying the phone. Is using combination in the market? No.
Is it applicable? Is it?
All right, everyone. We'll be going on a break. And once we return, we'll be looking at what's the way forward for the president this time around in a way of stabilizing the many concerns that Nigerians are having in his administration. We understand the government is doing enough, but what is the state government doing? What's the concern of the grassroots? What's the concern of some ministers? What's the concern about reducing cost of governance in the country? Just to, in a way of giving Nigerians some sense of understanding to the reality on ground. Because if you ask all of them, they agree that things are hard in the nation, but what's the way forward for Nigeria? We'll discuss this more shortly after this break. Do stay with us.
For an insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines, to explore the lasting impact of political decisions, Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight.
What is the real responsibility of government?
Big Talk delves deep into the heart of the matter. Join us weekdays on Global Televisions from 6:30 p.m. for a reverting journey into the heart of politics, where we dissect issues.
Many thanks everyone for still staying with us. If you're just joining us, this is Big Talk, a conversation where we're taking a look at what the initiative administration of Tinubu is doing to address the different situations we are having and the tension we're having in the country. The state of the polity is heating up. Concern about young people are planning to hit on the street on the 1st of August in a protest. To them, it's a way of signaling the government that they are not in any way appreciating the effort or the concern or the economic reality on ground. And government are saying we have several initiatives that we are on. We are trying to ease the living conditions of the people. We are on top of the game and all of this. But how do we begin to manage this and also facing the reality on ground? Let me know your thoughts on the comment section. Do well to all the comments and shares, and of course make your contribution known to us. We'll get that reaction on the course of the program tonight. I'm still having two gentlemen here who of course are having side by the government and the other one disagreeing with what government are doing. But at the end of the day, we are trying to see the objectivity about what the administration looks like, because we've elected a president. He asked for the job, so we are trying to see if he's capable of delivering on the many issues and many things that promised Nigerians in the course of this administration. Thanks, gentlemen, for assisting with us on the program. Let me get to Chika. It doesn't look that probably another person would have done this job better, because when you look at in the protest during the campaign, many political parties had the manifestos, and there was an argument that we have that almost the major aspirants in the political parties, PDP, Labour Party, had subscribed to issues of subsidy removal. And then I understand that you may disagree with the issues of implementation and how the subsidy removal would have been implemented, which you've earlier talked on. Do you feel that there would have been another way of managing this? Because APC and the government of Tinubu are saying it is a global challenge, it's a global issue that the economy seems not to be working. What's your concern about that? Or does it just look as if it's just unfortunate that it's under this administration that we're having this concern?
Actually, globally, things are not that rosy. But I think we should think inwardly to solve our problem. Our problem is not about dollar. We are dollarizing this country. If, for instance, you had the issues of the downstream with the supply of crude to Dangote refinery. We have a refinery that the former president went and commissioned. And today, that refinery is not working to its capacity. Now, if Dangote is sourcing crude outside Nigeria, and the crude in the country, they are selling to him in dollars, that's absurd. That's absurd. So it's not about Tinubu. It's about people working within the corridor of power. Tinubu might have, as I said, good policies, but people stand out with the implementation. They are the people that is the problem of Nigeria. It's not about APC. It's not about PDP. Like I always say, APC is an acronym. PDP is an acronym. People must take responsibility. The people must take responsibility. If they give you, assign a job to you to do, and you are not doing it well, there must be questions. Head must roll, so that others will learn. So I think, from the perspective, it's not about who is coming in. If you are coming in, even if you're OB comes in and you don't have the right people within,
would I still call you to order?
Of course. So that is my take.
The issues and concern about cost of governance among this government. So this is a government that is saying that, we should adjust, we should try to live within our means, we should exercise patience. But many people are not happy that we are having politicians, more appointments to start with in this administration, more ministerial appointment.
Yeah.
We are having senators recently being given SUV cars and some of these allocations, and even spending so much in the renovation completion of the Vice President Lodge. There are some, body language of government that is not appealing to Nigerians. To them, it feels they are still eating large, taking a lot of our resources abroad, and all of those concerns. How do you manage that body language by your government and this administration to the reality on ground that we should exercise patience, we should adjust, and manage herself? Because leaders are meant to lead by example. Do you feel that your parties and your government is leading by example?
Of course, the party is leading by example.
But things are,
let's look at it, how governance works. When you have a judiciary, you have the executive, you have the legislative. Is it the role of the president to advise the National Assembly on the kind of vehicle they get for their members? The same way the president was elected, the same way these people were elected. So when you're talking about separation of power, it is the role of the legislators to design how, they want to operate or how they intend to run their affairs. The president can only advise when necessary, but it's the responsibility of the citizen to make known their opinion, whether they are comfortable with that action or not. Yes, the legislators, I wasn't in support of them purchasing vehicle of that kind of amount, and the Nigerians have expressed their displeasure towards that, and I think the National Assembly knows that Nigerians are not happy with them, even though they're trying to find a way to cover that up. But on the part of the president, this is the president that said his traveling entourage, that of the president, the vice president, the wife of the president, and the wife of the first lady, and ministers have been drastically reduced, especially on any trip that has to do with international trip. That has never happened before. So he has shown commitment in an area where he has the 100% power to assert, because he appoints his ministers, he appoints his aides, he has at least the privilege to tell them, this is how I want you to run the office. But you can't go to the National Assembly and tell the legislators how many cars or the quality or the standard of vehicle they have to purchase. He might not be able to do that. It's the right of the citizen to caution or to, express their displeasure, like I said, against that kind of approach by the National Assembly. So the president on his part has shown, commitment to it, whereby he said, okay, traveling outside the country, when the minister is traveling, this is the number of people that is expected to travel with you. The era of going for international trip, going with 10, 7, 15 aides on the cost, with the cost on the federal government, the era has ended. You understand? So now a minister can only travel maybe to 1 or 2 important. Right. So he has shown commitment into that. And like I said, Nigeria is a very complex country, and a president cannot just dictate or just wake up in the morning and say, judiciary, this is how I want it to do. We are not running a military government. So he has to apply diplomacy and tactical approach in implementing these things.
Well, because we're running out of time, Chika, let me get the final take. What are the quick steps you feel that the president should adopt in resolving these issues? Because I like taking these so that away from the issues we've highlighted, what's the way forward? What is a quick step move? Should the president, a concern that you feel as a person that must be adopted to get away some of these issues?
As a quick approach to resolving the issue that we are discussing concerning the protest, I think the government need to speak. The president need to speak. He need to speak not through his aides, but he need to speak directly to the people to appease their mind. That's the thing why I believe he ought to have done before now.
All right. Dosun, do you feel that as you speak that the protests may be put on hold? What's your perceived look at it as we run up?
Yeah, well,
and what do you feel should be done?
Let me tell you one of the greatest things that this protest, or the planned protest, has actually achieved. For the first time, the plan to protest has actually put our government on their toes. That's the honest truth. Now, ministers that you think they are not accessible, that are not available, are now being visible.
It's visible to you, but it's not visible to us.
That people may not be seeing them doing anything. They are now out there trying to interact with people, trying to feel the pulse of the people.
And the president is also signing a lot of things.
These are bills. These are
granting sale of accrued to Dangote on Naira and other things.
And I know that the Dangote issue has been on.
So you agree that the planned protest is also already yielding results?
Like I said, these are ingredients of democracy. Sometimes when you sit down in your comfort zone, you think everything is right. But when you see challenge, it brings out the best in you. And I know the president, in a matter of days or so, will meet with young people of this country. He will also address the nation, because he's a listening president, like I've said, and he won't just sit back. Because that's one of the challenges of NSAS, because President Buhari failed to come out to talk to Nigerian youth at the right time that he was supposed to do that. You understand? So this president will not make that kind of mistake. He's a Democrat, and he's going to communicate to the people in a usual manner.
Thanks so much. Dotun Omole is a political analyst and a strong supporter of President Bola Tinubu for your thought and concern on the many issues. We look forward to the President maybe attempting. And thanks so much to the FCT Secretary of ABGA, Chika Obiezia. Thanks so much for joining us on the program tonight. We deeply appreciate it. We do hope to see you again on the program. But for now, we'll, of course, we'll be rounding up the program tonight. We are looking forward to find out some of the initiatives that the President is, administration of Bola Tinubu is bringing on board will start having an effect in the life of Nigerians. To many Nigerians, they have not in any way feel the impact of some of these policies. And it's also a call tonight on the program that the President should look at the implementation's structure to implement some of these initiatives, some of these projects to touch and affect the lives of Nigerians positively. That's the take, and of course the concern on the program tonight on Big Talk. Looking forward again, seeing you joining us tomorrow sometime, and of course on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly let us know your thoughts and concern on the comment section right there on the social media displayed on the screen. My name is Edikan Michael. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. See you tomorrow.